Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 60 of the Parenting Autism Podcast with Chris and Sandy Coulter. You can find us on the web at www.parentingautismshow.com, or if you'd like to reach out by email, you can get to us at parentingautism@att.net. And as always, we thank you all for listening to our show. Hi, Sandy.
Yes. Hey.
Yeah. So
we do thank you. It means a lot to us, and it means a lot to us when we hear from you, and it means a lot to us when we get 5-star reviews, which helps other people find us. And I know we got one this past week. You want to read that out, babe?
Sure. It's from Worried Dad is his handle name. And he says, "Love the authenticity. Keep up the great work. This podcast has been helpful in my journey with my beautiful boy who has autism." Yeah. So thank you, Worried Dad.
And we relate.
Yeah, we relate to being worried.
We worry about this journey that we have with our autism son, too. Mm-hmm. But I actually have something to share that I was going to do at the end of the podcast, but I think I'm going to share it now because it has to do with worrying about our children. And it's a message that I really felt speak to me from my Jesus Calling book, and it's where God speaks to us. And I hope this helps a parent that's out there listening.
There's something I want to share, too, after you're done with that.
Okay. So this, again, is like a message from God speaking to us as parents with our children. I am leading you step by step through your life. Hold my hand in trusting dependence, letting me guide you through this day. Your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy. That's okay. Secret things belong to the Lord, and the future things are secret things. When you try to figure out the future, you are grasping at things that are mine. Do not doubt my promises to care for you. Whenever you find yourself worrying about the future, return to me. I will show you the next step forward, and the one after that, and the one after that. Relax and enjoy the autism journey in my presence, trusting me to open up the way before you as you go.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it really spoke to me.
I was on, I'm part of all these autism Facebook groups, and I just have to mention that I saw a post this morning about someone who has autism who is struggling as a teen. I think they're a teenager, struggling being home during this pandemic. They're out of sorts because they're out of their routine. Mm-hmm. And it was mentioned that this person practiced witchcraft. Mm. And so, I don't know much about witchcraft, but I know for me that I found my peace in the Lord. And so I shared that with her. I said, I know you're into witchcraft, but I just wanted to share for me personally in my experience that I found peace through God. And I said, if you're open to it, here's the church that we like to watch online during the pandemic. And mm-hmm. I just shared it, not in a mean way, just as a objective way that I don't know about what she's into. I don't know much about that, but I just know what worked for me,
right.
And on that note, the whole God thing, and I just want everybody to know that this is probably take 10 of episode 60 of the Parenting Autism Podcast, because we are being battled by the enemy. And what I mean by that is the hosting service that we use, which is a national, international hosting service for podcasts. It's a very well-known hosting service, was attacked by one of those ransomware people or groups, so they attacked the website. Our podcast was down on and off in the past few weeks because of these attacks, or in the past week, I should say. And then we recently upgraded audio software, and so I thought, let me move the audio software to a new drive on the computer so that it'll just have more space, because we're up to episode 60 now. And so I did that, and we've had problem after problem with this software. And
We have.
and it's just after these discussions that we've had about, hey, we're reaching the world, and we mention God in our podcast.
Well, it's our life.
And whenever
So
you get attacked when you're doing things for the Lord, and we're under attack now, but I think I got it worked out, and I hope that you're able to hear this podcast when it gets out there. So it's just, one thing after another, and we are going to persevere.
we are. And you know what? I even had someone write me an email in the last week, and she said how much it's helped her and her family. And she said, I've even been praying that there would be new episodes from you. And I thought, wow, well, you have no idea. We need those prayers, because when we did episode 59, we had to try 3 different times to record that and patch it together. Then we thought we had that all fixed. So we've literally been in here talking for 30 to 45 minutes, and then nothing recorded, or it cut off in the middle.
Repeatedly.
And then we have to do it again, and we have to do it again. And, and you can only be fresh so many times, So we stopped yesterday. We came back today. It happened again. But again,
you know what? We changed the whole thing up.
We know
this
what
time.
to do. Yep. So
and we're fresh, and you know what? We love you guys out there.
We do, and we know.
And that's why we're
yes.
pushing forward.
So we're doing this, and
thanks for your support out there.
Yeah,
we appreciate
and keep
it.
praying
And
for
prayers,
us,
yep,
and for our
and your
episodes.
thoughts and good vibes
happen.
too. If you're not a praying person, so we'll take whatever we can get a hold of.
You're so funny. So speaking of positive things, we're going to do another contest. So
Yes,
that's
we
another
are.
thing we've been doing this year. Generosity has been my goal, my word of the year. And so we had a giveaway in January. We had another one in February. Tomorrow will be March 1st, and we have our 3rd giveaway. So the last 2 times, I didn't announce what it was because I wanted to be surprises, and it was really geared for the parents. But this time, we're doing something that is geared more for the child. And so we're going to give away one of our shirts that we had designed for Bryce when he was younger, when we needed to take him out in public places, and we needed people to just have a little more patience and understanding. So it's our Patience Please shirt. We'll personalize it to your child's name. So we'll just need to know a name. We'll need to know a size. We have different colors you can choose from. And when we get, our winner, we'll reach out. We'll get all those details. But we're excited to be giving this away.
Yeah, what it says is, it says in large letters on the front, Patience Please, and it has our podcast logo, which is the bright colored puzzle pieces, as you all know. And then across the puzzle pieces is your child's name. And then in smaller writing, near there, I think it's on top of the logo, it says Autism Awareness. So we do want to bring awareness to people when we're out in public, especially with our kids, because you never know when something might happen, a meltdown or an inappropriate comment or something.
Yep.
And this shirt just helps people understand if something does happen. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't criticize that parent, or maybe I shouldn't say something, keep my mouth zipped, or maybe give them a compliment, So
it's brought up different conversations, or we've had people say, oh, I know someone that's on the spectrum, or my niece is on the spectrum, or my nephew, or my child, It's brought up a lot of different conversations, and it's good.
Even in the airport, when we're getting pre-boarded, because of Bryce's special needs, he had his shirt on. And while everything looks normal on the outside, well, let me tell you, you don't want something to go outside of normal at the airport when you're trying to board a plane. So I think having the shirt on and people wondering like, oh, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with that family. Why are they getting aboard before us? Well, they see the shirt and they say, oh, okay, maybe I should learn a little bit more about autism.
Because we did have somebody say that one time, and the stewardess was just like, you don't know everything.
Right.
People
don't
she just
know.
took it for us.
Everybody has
a
a different situation.
Yep.
You just don't know what the other person's going through. So anyway,
we want you to reach out to us. We're not doing it through Facebook this time. I personally like it when we get emails and when we get someone that reaches out and tells us a little bit of their story. I love that because, I have felt alone on this journey, and at times I still feel that way, just depending on my day and what's going on. Do people really understand what I'm going through? So it's nice when I have others reach out to me and just share a little bit. So that's what we're looking for. If you have submitted before, but you want to go ahead and enter the contest, just say, hey, it's us again.
Yeah, I've already shared my story.
No worries. We'll put you back in the contest.
We just want to be in the contest.
But so just reach out to us through the website on the contact us page or through the email, and that would be great.
Awesome. Hey, I want to go over this book that someone sent us.
Yes.
Cherise sent it, and she's the author of the book. So both of us have read through it.
Yeah, we did.
And we
nice
liked
job,
it.
Cherise.
Yes. It's by Cherise Rasco, or I think it's Rasco, Rascoe. It's called Shayna's World, My Family and Autism. So it says it's like based on a fictional, this book is a work of fiction based on a true story. So I can only guess that it may be about her family.
That would be a guess.
It describes her and her family growing up with siblings on the spectrum. And so it's really insightful. It's a short book. I think both of us read it in one day.
It was a nice, easy read.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an easy read. It's a short book. It would be great for moms and dads who have kids who have some on the spectrum and some not. And it would be good for moms and dads to read, as well as the sibling that is neurotypical, that might have a brother or sister on the spectrum, I think. Because, Shayna's World, they can see that they're not alone and how autism affects the sibling in the family, So I think it's really good. And even it would be good for grandparents to have.
And just to say a little bit, the book is from the perspective of a 13-year-old girl. So she's at that middle school, and her parents put a lot more on her because she is the typical one. And so, she's working hard to get this scholarship paid at a private school. And she didn't want to even tell any of her friends about her family because she felt like they wouldn't understand and her family was so different. I grew up with 3 brothers, and, being the only girl with 3 brothers is difficult as it is.
Right.
So then you have the girl with 3 brothers, and 2 of them are on the spectrum and one a little more severe than the other. I mean, that would be extremely challenging, but she felt alone. And then in the story, there's an opportunity that comes up where she meets other families, and she realizes, oh, I'm not the only one, and the other people get this. And I think sometimes we all do kind of feel alone, or you feel like people are looking at you differently or wouldn't understand your family dynamic. And I think it just really helps with, we got to kind of move past that and not worry as much about what other people think.
Right. And
then hope and pray that other people will just become more understanding once we do share it with them. And actually, when she did have the courage to share with her friends, they were totally cool with it. So it's a good story. It is. It's very insightful.
Yeah. So thank you to Cherise for sending the book to us. We have a lot of companies and people that reach out to us with products and things, and they want to be on our show, and they want to kind of, because they have a new book out or because they have this product
they want to reach our
sell.
audience.
They want to reach our audience. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So, and as our listeners know, we don't really have guests on our show, very rarely. And so what we do is we say, hey, send us your product. We'll try it. And in this case, Cherise sent us her book. We'll read it and we'll share what we think with our audience. And we just loved it. And just thank you.
Yeah. So thank you very much. And you know what? At some point, we may give that away as a
giveaway.
One of our giveaways too. So things have been pretty good around here. We did have a couple of blips on the radar since we last recorded. I don't think I'm going to go over them in real depth because I feel like I've talked about them multiple times without people hearing it.
Because of the
recording software.
Yep.
But it all had to do with a couple of meltdowns that Bryce had. And I may, in another episode, go over some examples so that people can have them in detail. The good news that I really want to share from this that was encouraging was that what used to be a 2-hour meltdown has now been curbed to a 20-minute meltdown and a good recovery. And I think it's just because Bryce is getting, as he gets older and more understanding, he can learn to cope with it a little better and faster because he's understanding us and he's understanding our reasoning, and that helps, and I think also because we're getting more seasoned and we're getting more experienced and we're learning how to handle it, we're able to nip it down from 2 hours to 20 minutes. So that's encouraging for those of you who are still in the ages 4 and 5 where you and I wanted to really bang our heads on the wall.
Yes.
I thought, are we ever going to get past this? We have, which is great. And we're always going to have it. When we met with Miss Amanda, his BCBA, this past Thursday, and I was telling her about both of the meltdowns, which were very different reasons that they happened, extremely different. I told her you had mentioned that you felt like Bryce had regressed a little bit. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, he may have regressed because we've had some behaviors and, and his talking and stuff, his communication, but we're going to have that. That's just going to be part of our journey. We're going to go, hopefully, for weeks, maybe even months at a time, we'll extend to, who knows? But it's always going to be a part of our world. It's just going to be some days it's magnified. Some days it's not. For the days that it's not, hallelujah. For the days that it is, we'll get through this, and tomorrow will be another day. And it's just those unexpected things. We never know what's going to flip the switch, and we don't.
Yeah.
But we're getting better and better at identifying it. And then when it does happen, working through it.
Yeah.
I do have to share this one, though, because this was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So Monday evening, when I came home from a massage, so get the picture, I came home very relaxed in a very good place. I went right after work, came home, and you said you needed to talk to me about a couple of things. And before you could even tell me about these couple of things, Bryce came in and wanted to know why you didn't catch him. Yeah. And he's already in tears and almost crying. So I, of course, have no idea what this means. But I'm going to give you the short version, and we can go into details later. But the short version is your hands were full, and Bryce was trying to get out of our 4Runner, which is a little higher than a typical car. Yeah. He lost his balance.
For whatever reason.
Who knows why, because I wasn't there to see it, and your hands were full and you didn't see it.
He turned around backwards,
and he's coming out backwards, and he fell. And so when he fell, he did get hurt. He hurt his little butt bone. And so you iced it while I was gone. You thought everything was under control.
Yeah,
so I didn't get any texts or warnings that anything had happened because, it hadn't happened. So anyway, as soon as I come, and I guess because he saw me, he's like, Daddy, why didn't you catch me? So we had to go back out to the truck, reenact it a couple of times. So Bryce wanted us to, he wanted to, he didn't trust that you would be able to catch him should he fall again. And I think had we not done that, he wouldn't get back in our truck. And, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
So we appeased him. Plus I had no clue what was going on.
Yep.
So I went out with you guys. You caught him. He wanted to do it again, so he did it another time. And then he said he wanted it to be faster. And I think because when it happened before, it happened super fast. So he was trying to create the exact same speed. But you know what? We were not going to stand out there 7 times because he wanted to do it 5 more times.
It was dark outside.
Yeah, again, just came home from massage. Yep. Not really what I'm wanting to do 7 times. So we... All of a sudden, I have to say, we do not have police sirens sound off in our neighborhood at all. And that's a great thing. But we heard, whoop, whoop. So it was like, Bryce is immediately, what was that? Was that the police? Yeah, that's the police. So you and I took advantage of that and said, yep, that's the police. They're saying we better get back inside because it's dark outside and it's not safe out here. So we better lock up and go inside. So immediately he was on board with that and we go inside. Now, he started to bring it back up again. And as he's saying, Daddy, why didn't you catch me? Our phone rings. Again, doesn't ring all the time. And there was an answering machine. So the voice comes on, and it's the city of Port St. Lucie police calling our neighborhood to say that there's an increase in crime with vehicles and that you need to
our vehicles.
Lock your vehicle and stay inside. Yeah. They are saying this on our machine as Bryce is listening with his eyes big as saucers. And we're like, oh, see? They're telling us we have to stay inside. It's not safe out there. that nipped it in the bud.
It
He
sure
did not
did.
ask any more times for you to go
Not
out
a
there.
peep.
He didn't ask why if you could catch him.
That was a little God moment.
And that was totally a God moment.
Thank you, Lord.
Yes, and that nipped that one in the bud. And you have to laugh at that because we couldn't have planned that if we wanted to.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Anyway.
I want to mention that Bryce, we went for his checkup at the dentist.
Yeah.
And he had a good report. So he's 7 now, and so the dentist wants us to start flossing. So a little backstory, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past episode, but his very first dentist visit was just really 6 months ago. So when he was 6, and we did that because we didn't know how a dental visit would turn out without him being able to tell us things like how he felt, if he was scared, and things like that. So we never took him to a dentist until about 6 months ago. And I hadn't been particularly concerned about his teeth because they all looked good. He drinks water. He doesn't drink juice or soda. He rarely has sugar. So, it was like Sandy's going somewhere, so I'll continue on the story. So I wasn't really concerned about it. So we went to the dentist 6 months ago. He's like, everything looks great. And you can come back and see us in 6 months. So we did that, went back this time, and they were going to go do x-rays on him this time. And Bryce, bless his heart, he's had a lot of imaging done already in his life because of his stroke when he was 1 day old. And so I was like, well, I'd rather not do x-rays. He's had a lot of radiation, if you will, in his early days, and his teeth are good. I don't really think an x-ray is going to
it's not needed.
It's not going to change the outcome of our visit. So, and I really didn't even have to go into the details like, can we postpone that, or do we have to do that now? And they're like, okay, no problem. So, we were able to do that, and I hope we can postpone it maybe for another year because his teeth are just in great shape. And so somebody had watched our video on YouTube, our Parenting Autism channel on YouTube, about our first dental visit, and she was worried because her 2-year-old was coming up on their dentist visit, and she was afraid that he had cavities. And so I was like, wow, I can't imagine being in your shoes and trying to go through that at the dentist office, because that can be more traumatic with the drill and the filling and all that stuff. So,
for sure.
And bless her heart, we had this little girl in our bowling group 2 or 3 years ago, and she had hardly had any teeth, and the teeth that she did have were so rotten from sugar. And it's just a blessing that
And she had a sugar addiction.
She had a sugar addiction, and they say that if you're addicted to sugar, that has so many effects on you later in life, not to mention the whole diabetic thing, but mood swings, like it can be permanently part of your routine later in life. So, just breaks my heart thinking back to her. And we were just blessed that, we never really showed Bryce the candy bar aisle. We don't give him a lot of sugar. And, if your child is young and you're listening to this, I would just encourage you to try to keep them away from sugar, sugary drinks, and all that stuff, because guess what? You're going to have a dentist appointment coming up where it may not be good news, and you could have to go through getting fillings. And I couldn't imagine doing that with Bryce at this age. I mean, it would just be traumatic for him. So I'm just thankful that he's got good teeth and we didn't have to go through that yet.
We're grateful. And it's hard. And I mean, sometimes parents can do all the right things, and it can be genetic. Your teeth can be like what they call chalk teeth. Mm-hmm. So my younger brother, he had what they called chalk teeth. And so even like his baby teeth rotted, the front two, and his bottom teeth. But when his permanent teeth came in, they came in a little bit better than even the baby teeth. But he had to go to the dentist earlier.
Yeah.
And listen, I did grow up on candy.
Yeah.
No denying that.
And listen,
it was a big deal for us. And I have a lot of cavities I wish I didn't have as an adult, because I have to constantly be aware, and every dentist pretty much warns me, you got root canals in your future because of your fillings. So, and we grew up on Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And it's easy to appease a child with candy. If they're having a meltdown or something, it's easy for that to be a go-to. And I totally understand it as an adult. Like if I'm stressed, I could go for a good cupcake or a candy bar. I like and enjoy sugar. And so it's just an easy default to go to. And I'm just... It
is. You don't want to be hypocritical too much, because you do like your cupcakes.
I do.
In fact, I have to tell you, maybe don't bring so many sweets in the house, because if Bryce sees you eating it, he wants it. Now, Bryce has a dairy allergy, and because of his wiring and his thought process, he now knows that if he drinks the milk or has something in it, it's going to make his face break out with bumps. And so
he doesn't want that to happen.
So he doesn't want it to happen. So he'll say, now, does this have milk in it? And then if it does, he won't want it because of that reason. Now, we got him an enzyme, and we're in the early stages of this to see if it will help, because he does enjoy ice cream, and he does enjoy donuts, and it's not like he hasn't ever had sugar
or a chocolate has milk in it.
He really doesn't know candy, because we just haven't
given
him
the whole
straight up candy where you chew on it and get it in your teeth. No, he doesn't know any of that in sugary drinks, but he does like a sweet, and we really drilled it home with him that it's on special occasions. And so by saying that, I think that's great in life. Even for myself, I like things to be a special occasion, because then you enjoy it more. But not having it in the house, not having it as easily accessible. I understand with children, especially if you have behavior issues, and that's something that's going to calm them down. And it's almost like giving a baby the pacifier. Like, oh, okay, this gives me some quiet for a moment.
I'm sure in some cases it probably has the opposite effect. It might just energize their behaviors.
I think
don't know.
That's more of the concern.
Yeah.
In fact, that book that we referenced earlier, she was saying that if her brothers had sugar, there was a certain look in their eye, and then you knew that,
like the crazy look.
The crazy look was coming.
Yeah.
And so I think that definitely can happen.
And we know about the artificial dyes, red number 12 or whatever it is.
Yeah, we try not to give Bryce even like those popsicles, make all the red go away. So, because it's like, but
you just do what you can.
You do your best. We're just saying.
That's what we're on the planet for, is just to try our best.
Yeah, and we are very happy that Bryce has some good teeth going on. He only has 2 permanent teeth. He has actually been delayed in losing his baby teeth.
Yeah.
So he still has all his top baby teeth. I know I'm going to be a little sad when they go, because there goes my baby. But the dentist already said you can expect him to lose 4 in the next 6 months and 4 in the following 6 months. So we're probably going to have some...
lots of teeth.
Yeah, lots of tooth fairy stuff going on around here. Well, we're having some more technical difficulties, and it cut us off again. So we are going to go ahead and wrap up this episode.
Yeah, we got about 30 minutes in.
Yeah, and next time when we come back, we're going to answer some more questions. And we've got some questions from some viewers. We've got some other things we'll catch up on. But for now, we're glad we got this much out. You know we're alive and kicking and well, and we care, and we hope you have a great week.
Don't forget about the contest.
Yep, we hope to hear from you, and you'll hear from us again soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.